Good morning, my friends. Grim here. I hope you're very well today. And when I say Grim here, I don't mean Grim Gaming today. I don't even mean Grimflayer MTG for the old heads. I mean Grim Lavamancer. Grim Lavamancer here with you today, playing some Machine Head in Premodern, some black-red midrange. This video is for Sal, aka Ironworks, a total bro. Great member of the community, somebody who's got a paper tournament in Premodern coming up, probably going to be sleeving up Machine Head and requested some gameplay on the channel to that end. So this one's for you, buddy. Hope you enjoy it. Hope everybody else enjoys it as well. Let's do a little bit of a deck tech before we get into some games with black-red midrange. Alright guys, a few structural notes before we go line by line. First of all, you will note I am not playing Dark Ritual. I don't believe Dark Ritual to be correct in most two-color or three-color and beyond, of course, black-based mid-range decks. I do believe Dark Ritual to be correct almost always in a mono-black shell. I think this heuristic is especially relevant here for Machine Head, because if you look at the cards we're playing and the cards that actually have appeal, they are low curve and color hungry. Lightning Bolt, Grim Lavamancer, Terminate, Red Blast, Overload, all of those things. Dark Ritual absolutely does nothing to help you cast them. The only card that is castable off of Dark Ritual that is red and has some appeal is Lavaborn Muse, but again, it's totally okay to play her on curve. You can also power out an Anarchy, I guess, a little bit ahead of schedule. That's, again, kind of against the nature of the card. So I believe that in the case of Machine Head, we want really good color production, as best as we can in this format anyway, and we definitely don't need the Dark Ritual. That means a card like Hypnotic Spectre, although still playable, is definitely not as much of an all-star here, but again, I believe the omission of Ritual to be correct. That said, you do see a lot of these lists omitting Ritual, but also playing a couple copies of the Rack. That's the second structural note. I'm not playing 2 copies of Rack here. I think it's completely fine to do so, like 2 Rack, 3 Lavaborn Muse is kind of like a diversity of rack effects and chip damage sources in general, which is kind of how this deck wins after all. I think that's totally good, but for rental budget reasons, I kind of had to choose between the rack and maximally powered red sideboard cards, and I'm choosing the latter. So this is a way to kind of stress test to the limits pure Machine Head, as it were. And I don't think Rack is mandatory by any means. But what we might do as a thought experiment is whenever the 2 Rangers come up, Phyrexian Ranger would probably be the card that makes way for the Rack. Whenever these 2 Rangers come up, we'll just see how the Rack would feel in their place and kind of try to keep a running tally about that. And the third structural note is I'm recording this just a couple days after Parallax Tide was banned. We probably lose a little bit of equity in the format because a discard deck with access to Red Blast is a very good predator for Parallax Tide. That said, people are going to be brewing with all kinds of other blue decks probably, right? And so even though this video is probably going to come out a week or so after I record it, it is definitely made right in the wake of the Tide ban. And those are the 3 broad considerations. So now, having said that, we'll go real quick line by line, and then we'll play a few games. 24 lands, again, emphasis on color production, but we do play a full playset of Mishra's Factory because, again, chip damage, going wide after disruption and removal is how we end the games, so there is no space, in my opinion, for Wasteland in a list like this. We play the full 4 Sulphurous Springs. Unfortunately, no Old Border available. You hate to see it, but Bloodstained Mire having in-color fetches is great, and we've got some wonderful Rakdos-feeling Mercadian Masks, Mountains, and Swamps. And in the discard spot, we've got 4 copies of Duress, 3 of Cabal Therapy. 3 is about the sweet spot for me, especially because we are on 4 Ravenous Rats. It would be a capital offense for me. I accidentally rented a new bordered Cabal Therapy, but again, because we've got the Sulphurous Springs dragging us down anyway aesthetically, not as big a deal as it might otherwise be. Phyrexian Furnace and Curse Scroll are both really good one-ofs that we can leverage main deck. These types of cards have a really, really high floor. They actually have a really high ceiling, too, to be able to kind of solo games if you find them in the right places and right times game one, and they're never that much of a liability as just a one-of. It's really nice to be able to include these main deck alongside, of course, 4 Lightning Bolt, and I think 3 copies of Grim Lavamancer is about right. You want to see one in most games. He'll be your best card in a lot of situations. He'll probably be slightly more frequent side out than maybe some other threats, but so yeah, 3 of is right about where you want to be. I actually thought about playing only 3 copies of Terminate as well, but again, with the notion of stress testing pure Machine Head, we're rocking the full 4, and if you don't want the full 4 Terminates, maybe you don't want Machine Head in your meta, you know what I mean? So, 4 Terminate and a single Diabolic Edict to round out the removal, with 4 copies, as mentioned, of Ravenous Rats and Hippie. We've got the 2 copies of Rager. Again, this is right along the plan. I think it's a really, really solid card, but we could replace these with the Wreck, and as we play the games, we'll see how they feel. 1 copy each of Phyrexian Arena and Skeletal Scrying alongside Ranger make up the card advantage slots, and it is a really good opportunity to play a 1 of Skeletal Scrying, again, because we have fetches. We have fetches, and we have cards like Lightning Bolt and Terminate that are going to be in the bin early a lot of the time. Therefore, this is a really good Skeletal Scrying shell. However, it's probably better to see 1 each of Arena and Scrying in almost any game than it would be to see 2 of one or 2 of the other. Furthermore, we do have a bit of a strain on our graveyard already with 3 Lava Man and 3 Therapy, so I think just 1 Scrying is where I want to be. I could see going up to 2, but for now we're splitting that 1 and 1. In 3 copies of Lavaborn Muse, this card is real. This card is really fun, feel good. It's a great way to finish the game. It's a rack effect on a 3/3 body. Absolutely love it. And the sideboard, as mentioned, is, in my opinion, maxing out the power of the red cards specifically. But before we touch on those, we've got a second Furnace, and we've got some black standbys, 3 times Engineered Plague, 2 times Dystopia. We do not have Gloom here. We've got Dystopia and Anarchy, so Gloom is maybe a little bit of overkill. I'm trying to 1-of Fire Covenant. This is kind of a Pyrokinesis style, really flexible removal card in a lot of situations. It's a little weird to have removal that you can't really bring in against hyper aggressive strategies like Sly sometimes, or maybe you still do. I don't know. If we get to that matchup, we'll see how we sideboard, right? But this is a really interesting card. I think I want to play it. And then we've got 2 copies each of Overload. Really, really nice to have access to artifact removal, unlike, for example, Moneyball. So 2 Overload, 2 Pyroblast, 2 Red Blast, and 2 Anarchy. An immensely powerful sideboard in my estimation. So this is going to be all kinds of fun. Can't wait to get some games in with you. Thank you for being here. Make sure you like and comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you on the other side for a wrap-up. Alright, a beauteous keep. You absolutely love a keep like this. We do need a 3rd land on curve to make it all really tick. But we've got Duress, Lava Man, Bolt, Rats. We're going to open up on the Duress, though, of course. And we see Black-White control. They're going to Duress us back to take Phyrexian Arena, I suppose. I don't know if we care. I think we probably have to care. So taking Duress feels pretty good here. It'll feel really bad if they rip another one and then they get to Therapy as well. But Duress in the hopes that they don't do that and then they whiff with a blind name, because I don't know what they could name blind that they're likely to name and that we care about. I mean, Ravenous Rats is the likeliest from among the cards that we see, for sure. And that wouldn't be the craziest name in the world, by any means. Obviously, leaving Decree of Justice in a mid-range matchup is a little scary. They name Withered Wretch. Yeah, so they read us for Moneyball. That's a fine one. It's a fine name, but we'll certainly take that outcome. And we rip a land. You love to see it. So we'll conceal it. We'll go Rat mode, and then we'll get to stick a Phyrexian Arena, hopefully. We're delaying Lava Man by quite a bit, but that is, Oh, and we get the Decree out of their hand anyway. They just feel unable, I suppose, to realistically utilize it. Gerard's Verdict. Yikes. Alright, Lava Man and Bolt have to go. We'll take our guaranteed arena, I guess. Yeah, that's a really good one. Card is a major powerhouse. I guess we value Swamp here over Sulphurous Springs. Life total can matter in the long run on a long enough timeline with enough grind involved. And they all are also a Dust Bowl deck, at least. Exalted Angel, yep. Hippie, and Lightning Bolt. Never didn't have the out. Never didn't have it. Definitely a little bit risky, but again, like, I don't think we can throw back Phyrexian Arena in that spot. Because, like, even if we take a few hits from Arena, it's not like our deck can't recover from that, right? Or from Angel, a flipped Angel. And they would have to have had the land on curve, which they clearly didn't. So I'm not saying we didn't get lucky there, because we did, but yeah. And now the luck hopefully does not begin to desert us. We get Decree of Justice out of their hand. Yeah, that's another lucky hit. Obviously, a couple lands for turn on our end is pretty bad, but we'll just plan on fetching to thin and to fill up the graveyard. Sometimes fortune favors the bold, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Alright. Arena putting in all the work here. Hippie putting in quite a bit of work as well. So, the second Hippie, I'm not sure if we're supposed to play because they are a Wrath of God deck. But it does put them on a 2-turn clock, so at the risk of them ripping exactly Wrath off the top, I think it is... I think it's the move. And again, even if they rip exactly Wrath, we are the ones with Phyrexian Arena and a higher life total and more lands. Okay, Exalted Angel, that could be scary. I guess they could be on Bane of the Living as well. Alrighty, well... No out to the Angel this time. You hate to see it. So, hippies will get in and the game will go on. Alright, they've got land for turn. Are they going to flip and attack? They are. They're getting the guaranteed... Not lifelink. Pseudo-lifelink. Okay, Diabolic Edict. Nice rip. GG. They get one more turn, but then even if they have Wrath of God, they're dead to Factory the following turn, right? But we're playing it out. Okay, there it is. Again, they had one more turn, but I don't think any one card draws them out of that. That was nice. I think we got lucky in some important spots. I won't deny that, but a very strong curve out from our deck. Dystopia and Anarchy are both live. I'm not sure we're supposed to play all 4 copies of such things. I don't really want much else. Engineered Plague against their soldier tokens is probably a little too cute. Going to, like, discard is good, but you saw how it was bad to draw there. We could have fallen behind big time by drawing it if we didn't have the arena going. So I'm fine trimming a little bit of it. Like, maybe we go to 5 effects. We'll get an Anarchy in. I don't know if we're supposed to leave in all of our forms of removal, but they were sure really good there. Maybe Diabolic Edict is a little bit worse than Terminate, even though it was the card that just won us the game there. So we'll play one Anarchy, one Dystopia for sure. I think maybe a second Anarchy is better than a second Dystopia, but don't quote me on that one. Lightning Bolt is just trimmable, I guess. We'll run with this. And you know, I don't think ever cast the card Anarchy at all in Premodern, so we'll play with both of them. We'll see. Without knowing the exact nuances of their list, I don't think we saw anything unorthodox there. It's hard to say whether, like, those edge case cards, which one's better than which other one. But I am very happy to take game one against such a deck. I don't know who's favored here. If anything, I think I might tilt it in the favor of black-white control a bit. But don't quote me on that by any means. And opponent's gonna mulligan to 6. We're keeping just like a generic value-positive hand. It is nothing to write home about, but you don't need it to be in a mid-range mirror. You need them to not have Gerard's Verdict. That's basically what you need. And as long as they don't have that, I feel all right about our hand. Plains Pass. Mishra's Factory. Okay, so we're going to fetch Swamp here. They're cycling a Secluded Steppe. Yep. No Verdict. Ah, Verdict. Okay. I am not sure what to do. I think actually pitching Anarchy here might be correct. It's just probably not going to be live for a while, and if so, they could draw a discard before it is. And we have another one in the deck, right? So why don't we pitch one land and one Anarchy, I guess. Kind of a tough call. All right, we've drawn Terminate, okay. I hope they don't have another Verdict, but if so, all right, we get to create Justice out of their hand. That one always feels good in a mid-range mirror. If they have another Verdict, we've got to ditch the Terminate +1, and it might even be Terminate Lavaborn Muse, and we just, like, keep making our land drops and ride the factories to victory. Yeah, another Verdict. Tough scene. Yeah, they're also potentially still sitting on a plow, so I am going to pitch Muse and Terminate. Feels bad, especially because they're obviously getting low on cards, but you know what? But we draw Phyrexian Rager. What a draw, man. What a draw. Alright, let's make sure we get our color production dialed in, though. We could have attacked first. They're not going to plow the rats when they're at 21 life, and even if they plow the Rager, I mean, that's fine, too. No third Gerard's Verdict. We really want to keep some cards around here. Yeah, this is like the... Oh, Cabal Therapy. Yeah. Okay. Wind those 2-for-1s back in. Level it back out a little bit for us. Verdict is such an attraction to playing black-white. It's not even funny. I love the card. You hate to face it. You love to see it. Ooh, Exalted Angel. Come on. More removal off the top. We know you can do it, deck. No, we can't. It's Cabal Therapy. Scary stuff. Scary stuff. Okay. Would you like to trade? Yeah, I mean, we can't draw the removal every time, and definitely just got wrecked by those double verdicts. I don't think it was wrong to pitch what we did, but we've kind of prioritized keeping some lands, and we've drawn discard and more lands after having done that. But that's alright. We will rip an answer right now. Anarchy. Oh no, but we only have one red! What a tilt. Okay. What is the scariest card in their hand? It's gotta be another Exalted Angel. But then again, Anarchy kills them both. So maybe it's like Decree of Justice. Then again, Anarchy sweeps that up too. I don't know. But I do think we are supposed to use the Cabal Therapy here. Or do we just hold it to shield Anarchy against yet another verdict? Probably not. Alright, let's cast it. I don't know what to name here. It could even just as easily be a Duress. Let's just go Decree of Justice. I really don't know. Seal of Cleansing. Got it. Alright, we have so many outs now, including just drawing any red land. The Seal of Cleansing, we should probably take the chance to answer right now with the flashback Cabal Therapy off of Ravenous Rats. First we'll attack. Just because it can tangle with the factories, right? And it could beat a Dystopia if we rip that as well. Alright. So, I think our spot is still okay. It's still really good. We'll be pretty unlucky if we don't rip a red land or something, or some other kill spell before we lose here to the Exalted Angel. We've got 3 more turns. So, Furnace, I do think we have to crack aggressively here. Again, looking for those things. Might as well hit Cabal Therapy. Mountain, 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 mountain. Swamp. Bro, that's so bad. Oh no. Oh no. Well. I mean, it's another verdict is kind of lights out anyway, so do we play Swamp? I don't know. I guess we still do. I don't think they're a Ravenous Rats deck, so it's not like keeping one card in hand really does anything. We're also at least representing Terminate or something this way. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Some of the Gerard's Verdict decisions have that we made early have not gone our way, but right now, from where I'm sitting, I don't think anything was wrong. I think we've been fairly unlucky. And we can still easily get there. And we do. Mountain off the top. I'm not going to say just in time, but it is kind of just in time. Anarchy. My first ever Anarchy cast, again, as far as I can remember. You'll love that one. And ooh, are we going Decree of Justice here? Decree of Pain! Woo! Interesting one. Yeah, so we do get to save the factory, and they get to blank our attacks for a turn. It could definitely be worse. That card is a huge blowout against our deck, potentially. Okay, so they find land into Vindicate. So the game is very much still going on. We have a Terminate, which is a very fine one. Decree of Justice is definitely a scary prospect right now. Dust Bowl. Alright, so they've got our other factory on notice. Having drawn a land for a turn, I guess we just make them do it right now. I think they want the higher land count a lot more than we do at this moment in time. And just in general. Yep. And we want to play out the lands aggressively, again, against another Gerard's Verdict, which at this point, gaining them life would be pretty bad as well. Alright, so let's find Lavaborn Muse. They just did land for turn, sure. I think while we are supposed to play out our lands, they are supposed to conceal them, potentially. But then again, we have Ravenous Rat, so we would have just knocked that out of their hand. So maybe that's wrong. I am going to hold the Rat for just one turn. Just one turn. We have an incentive to play it as just a 1/1 clocker, but for one turn I'm holding. And now we have Hippie, so we have probably been rewarded for this. We'll see what they have in response, if anything. Another Plains. Yeah, they've been unlucky with the Flood, for sure. And now they've got another Decree of Pain would be live, Wrath of God. It's not even the Hippies that good in this spot either, but some dudes, we'll take it. They found Plow, alright. Not the worst outcome for us, but not ideal either. We'll play out our mountain for all the aforementioned reasons. Oof. Yeah, too many lands off the top. Alright, they take the hit. Yeah, both players flooding, just black-based mid-range things. Lava Man could be pretty good here. Can we spook another Plow out of your hand? Do you have one? Alright, well, we're going to test him for a Plow or a Sweeper or something. We'll play out the Lava Man. It's good to have Terminate rolled up, I guess. Definitely not too mad about that one. Wrath of God. Okay. Goes it so. Hippie will answer the call for reinforcements after God's wrath, God's judgment has been has been called down. Alrighty. Will he connect? We've got another Lava Man off the top. The chip damage is real. Hippie's connecting, knocking a card out of their hand. It's yet another land. Yeah, we challenge them to find another Sweeper effect for sure here by playing the Lava Man. And they do. Okay, Wrath of God off the top. Bra moment. Alright. Swamp. Swamp go. Good times, good times. Lavaborn Muse. Yeah, baby. No Plow. No Plow. Alright, so we're triggering for 3. And that's the game. Lavaborn Muse for the win. That was a really fun 2-0 against Black-White Control. Good games, well played. We'll do a potentially sketchy thing and keep this hand on the draw. You don't really like to see a hand like this that's just kind of slow without the interaction, but hey, never didn't have it. So obviously, if Cabal Therapy were Duress, that would be a snap-off. That would be beautiful. As it is, we're going to give them another turn to show us a little bit more about what's up, because Treetop Village could mean a very wide variety of things. Okay. Still don't really know mono green, whatever. But hey, Duress, ask and you shall receive. Beautiful. Arguably better than having it turn 1, actually. So we're against Red-Green Zoo. They've got Mountain and a Lava Man they haven't shown us about yet. So Lightning Bolt, don't care about Hull Breach, Incinerate, and Call of the Herd. I think, strangely, we might just take Call of the Herd, although taking Lightning Bolts is kind of fine, too. But no, let's take Call of the Herd. I don't want to fight through 2 elephants, just 1, and that gives them something not proactive to do next turn, because we're going to therapy away the Lava Man as well here. Unfortunate that we couldn't get a 2-for-1 off the therapy, but this is quite the good turn regardless. So, remaining hand is... Let's see... They play the Mountain, of course, so the remaining hand is Incinerate, Hull Breach, Lightning Bolt, 1 unknown. The Apes are getting frisky. 3 to us. Alright. So we're going to play probably Mountain into Rager here. Okay, Curse Scroll seems potentially good, but... yeah, Mountain into Rager is fine. It's going to let us curve out even better. We're going to keep... we're going to keep seeing cards and trying to race them. Now, there is a consideration for Cabal Therapy. Maybe just to take Lightning Bolt. It seems a little goofy, but, like, the Rager doesn't trade well with Treetops anyway. We could get lucky and get 2 bolts out of there. And we kind of have to find a way to stick the Lavaborn Muse, so I'm going to do it. We are not so lucky, but that's okay. We've got our rats lined up. It's going to be great. Gonna be great. We're going to take some pain in the meantime. They're going to get that Incinerate out of the hand before we can take it with a discard effect, of course. But we're lining up a solution to our problems, you can be sure. You can be sure. All right, we've got Terminate as well. So, having drawn Terminate, I think the play is just rats. Hold up Terminate, potentially. Yeah, no, just rats hold up Terminate's fine. They probably let the Hull Breach go here. If they do, then, like, playing the scroll's a little more attractive, but we'll still, just say go. I definitely want to answer the Apes, and they can also just flashback Call of the Herd as well. Either one is a fine Terminate target in this exact spot. Oh, they have another Call of the Herd off the top. Ah, yeah, that's a tough one, actually. And a Jackal Pup? Whoa. Some nice draws for OP. We do know the Incinerate's in their hand, so, like, it would be a great time to draw a discard, I guess. But yeah, we'll just use our Terminate now. Scroll is good against Pup, but our hand is definitely getting clunked up here. Okay, we'll take the draw of Duress, for sure. It's not going to be good any other time, right? So we've got a couple clunkers stuck in hand. We're against the Apes and the Elephants coming back. They found some good stuff. The Pup into the second Call of the Herd, especially the latter, is really, Really nice game off the top. Both decks kind of looking really coherent here, I would say. We're both doing our thing. This is good, clean Magic. I think now with a second Call of the Herd, it's anybody's game. This is a fascinating attack, rather than just making another elephant. So maybe they drew another Jackal Pup, in which case it makes a lot of sense. Oh, okay, they they don't attack. Cool. I was gonna say, I think I'm gonna call their bluff. Alright, fair enough. I mean, that's really good for us that they just didn't make an elephant out of the graveyard. Now we get to play Lavaborn Muse. Because, yeah, if they had a lightning bolt, then they would have attacked, so we're not reading them for one, obviously. Okay, 3 to you. Incinerate. Okay. Yeah, that's a bit rough, but again, they're not making an elephant this turn as well. Like, all in all, that's a good trade for us. We do 3 and we trade 1 for 1. And then they find Kyrian Dryad, so they didn't get to buff her. Now, hopefully, we get some draw that allows us to kill the Dryad. They're also serving with a Jackal Pup, which I think is probably just because Curse Scroll is making them feel the pressure there. But that's obviously a great trade for us with the Rats. We ping them for 1, insult to injury. And it is a land off of the top, which is actually totally fine, because it allows us to scroll the Dryad, deploy the Hippie. And make a second red source for whatever purposes we might need that for. All right, we still kind of have our work cut out for us against the elephants coming out of the graveyard, plus the treetop village, plus whatever they find off the top. And they're just attacking. Oh, they found Jackal Pup. That makes sense. The attack makes sense. All right, we're down to 9. Definitely a little scary. But now from here we can sit behind Factory and scroll, or we can just draw Lavaborn Muse. That's really, 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 really good. Don't get to use the scroll, but whatever. Can't complain. Muse. And then I guess we're supposed to... race with the Hippie. They do have draws that could punish us, but the Jackal Pup attack is bad no matter how you slice it. The Ape, in theory, will just trade with Mishra's Factory. Hippie doesn't really move the needle on either of those considerations, so yeah, we just get in. Alright, they make an elephant. They're down to 11. Lavaborn Muse is a heck of a card. Ravenous Rats is going to get that out of their hand, and we get to scroll them. So it's time for some math. So if we scroll them, they go to 9, they go to 7 with Hippie, they go to 4 with Muse, and they're Hellbent. Or if we scroll the Jackal Pup, it's the exact same outcome, but they don't have a Jackal Pup. I guess that's better. I guess that's better. So, I mean, let's just begin by doing that. The problem is we can't hold up Factory by doing all this, but whatever, it's good. It's good. Okay. Jackal Pup down, opponents at 9. Rats gets the last card out of their hand. That's a really good chump blocker. Mog Fanatic. Alright, so yeah, we serve with Hippie. Man, our deck is like performing. I think it kind of has to be performing in the top quintile, let's say, of its progressions and draws in order to keep up with this progression from the opponent. Again, this is like just really good Magic right now. I'm very happy with our Machine Head deck, and we do indeed get there. Okay, good stuff. So against Red Green Zoo, I think the other Furnace is fine. Against their Call of the Herd type effects, they might play a Lavamancer of their own. Dystopia is gotta be worth playing, right? I don't know if this is an Engineered Plague matchup, because Jackal Pup is kind of their worst card anyway, and Plague on Lavaman is symmetrical. I'm probably going to go without it and see how it goes. I will play Fire Covenant. But again, these, I think I mentioned a little bit in the deck tech, like, they put our life total under so much pressure that it's not really clear how good these cards are, but we'll still roll with it. I'm going to, we got pretty lucky there with our discard effects. I'm going to shave them. And maybe we could shave even more if we wanted to. But I think 1 therapy, 2 duress on the draw is fine. Alright, looks like a pretty good Moneyball hand. We've got one of our 2 duresses in the opener, so we're rewarded for it. It's totally balanced. It's not that exciting of a hand. And they still have the Jackal Pups in post side, and they are rewarded for that, because Pup turn 1 on the play is pretty good. Then again, we've got Ravenous Rats as a great roadblock. So they have Lava Dart, Call of the Herd. I'm just going to deal with one of the elephants right now. I know that Lava Dart beats a rat. I don't think I really care about that. Yeah, it's just, either way, they've got flashback value available. But then again, you know, the Lava Dart and the Mog Fanatic can beat both of our rats, allowing the Jackal Pup to continue crashing in. But, and interestingly, they didn't play the Treetop Village, so they might have drawn a Lightning Bolt. Are they going to bolt us in response? Or are they just going to Lava Dart in response? Okay, and then the Rat Trigger will take care of another mountain. Okay, got it. Treetop Village, get in for 3. Another Hippie's a little poor. It's definitely a little poor, but it might be the play. I think we have to hope they stumble a wee bit here, or we have to give them, like, I think playing Hippie gives them the incentive to attack with Treetop Village if they find a Greenland. And also, if we draw something good next turn, we're like, we're more able to double spell. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether Hippie there is better than Rats, but I'm happy to snap off a trade here with Jackal Pup if that's what they go for. Sylvan Library, huh? Into Lava Dart and then Flashback. Or no, Lava Dart and then Mog Fanatic. Sure, I mean, it's not the worst use of a Hippie on the draw for us by any means. Problem is we've got too many Hippies. That's the problem here. So we're probably supposed to play land, do nothing here, spook them into not attacking with Treetop Village, It's very possible that they just draw a couple cards here, play land, call the herd. That's bad for us, but this is kind of our best window to scrying. We're going to scrying for 3 and try to find the right half of our deck. Because while Duress and Durats was a good opener, we've just been kind of finding the wrong half of the deck ever since. Having to operate off of Sulphurous Springs is pretty rough, too. For if and when we ever find any red spells. So it was kind of a Hail Mary here with Skeletal Scrying for free, but for 3, rather. Not for free. For 4. Alright, so we're taking a lot of damage here. We're down to 8. We have found Bolt and Terminate and Mountain. Okay, some good finds, some good finds. So if we play Ravenous Rats, we don't get anything out of their hand. But if we play anything else, we're kind of like... Yeah, we're not double spelling. So what if we play Hippie? Yeah, I think we have to kind of take a turn off, again, of doing like our really good stuff and just play a Hippie. This gives them the tension between, do they try to get the game over with Treetop Village, or do they find a land and make a call of the herd token? I think opponents should be drawing cards. I don't know why they didn't draw any last turn. Maybe they're playing around a Ravenous Rats, you know? Maybe they next leveled us. But no draw again. I think when you're at 20, you definitely kind of want to. But they are just making elephants. It's a big problem. It's a big problem. Now, we want them to attack with both, of course. We'll snap off the Hippie trade. Yep. Okay, so we're going to terminate to be more mana efficient. And the Jackal Pup did its job, did a lot of damage, and traded with our 3-drop. Okay, well, we're lining up some good stuff in the long run with the factories, I suppose. But for now, we're just kind of like falling behind to the elephants. And we'll continue holding the rats. Next turn will be a good turn for the rats, probably, because I expect them to just flashback Call of the Herd here. Alright, they do draw a card now. Incinerate Face. Okay. Incinerate Face, okay. Understood. Message received. Message received. Double Lava Dart. Got us. Hold on. We'll bolt ourselves. Outplayed. GG. Alright, well, that was awkward. That was an awkward way to end the game. I don't really see that our incentive changes so much, though. Maybe like an extra discard effect is okay on the draw. Maybe something like Phyrexian Rager is a little slow. We could cut one of those. Yeah. Yeah, they just kind of like pressured us and burned us out. So another Duress may be the order of the day. We'll find out. Again, they're so mid-rangey that we definitely should be a little lighter on discard. This hand's alright. I'm not excited about it, but I think we're supposed to keep it. The totally painless mana is part of the appeal. The X for 1 potential of Dystopia is another part of it. We've obviously got to draw well to make a 5-lander with no threat good, but we will. It'll be great. Opponent took a Mulda 6. The card we fear most is probably Sylvan Library. Mog Fanatic. I'm going to take a draw step. It might actually be correct to bolt that. Another land. Dude, come on, man. Come on. All right. As bad as this is, I am actually going to bolt the Mog Fanatic because... Oh, and they were F6 because they didn't expect us to bolt the Mog Fanatic. All right, that makes it actually a lot better. But, like, you want to save your bolts for stuff like Jackal Pup or for what I was thinking is the Elephant tokens and things like that. We've got Dystopia rolled up for those. Okay, Duress, we'll take it. Not the worst spot for a Duress by any means. Call the Herd, Lightning Bolt, Lava Dart, Kyrian Dryad, huh? Ugh. Take the bolts. If we can just find an answer to Jackal Pup, which is... The answers are numerous on our deck, whether it is either like a kill spell or like a card that can block it, then we're kind of in business. With Dystopia, of course, being our main answer here. Lavaborn Muse. That'll count. That'll count as a... that'll count as an answer here, I think. So she's going to do 3. They're probably going to offer the Jackal Pup plus Lava Dart trade here. I think that's probably good for us. Oh, they found another Kyrian Dryad. They're just Lava Darting face. All right. Call of the Herd in hand. Yeah, they still offer the trade. We take it. We cannot afford not to, unfortunately. This sets them back, though, in a big way on lands. So now, like, our discard becomes a lot better. And our Dystopia is obviously going to be really good here. We got Diabolic Edict as well. So I think we're supposed to hang on to the Edict. We're supposed to probably take 1 hit from the Kyrian Dryads, deal with the other one, and then have the Edict rolled up for after everything. Because we can't keep the Dystopia around for all that long. Alright, we take 3. Opponent passes. We pay the life, yep. Furnace is sweet. Furnace is a sweet one. We'll take that all day. Alright. Dystopia takes care of the other Dryad. They find Sylvan Library, yikes. Oh no. Yeah, that's a bad one. That makes me want to crack the Furnace for a redraw. I think now we kind of have to. That changed everything about the texture of this game. Or did it? Because then if we... I was just kind of assuming, like I mentally shortcutted that we cannot afford to take another turn of Dystopia, but maybe we actually do. So if we take another turn with Dystopia, I think I'm going to hang on to the Furnace for 1 turn as well. Right? Right. Alright, down to 11. We draw Factory, which is fine. Not the best, not the worst. Pass to you. Dystopia takes care of the Sylvan Library before it gets any value, so this turned into like a shock to the face, basically. And with them stuck on lands, now I'm going to keep the Furnace around, I'm pretty sure. Is that even correct? We have kind of the opposite incentive, because if they're stuck on lands, then the flashback a Call of the Herd is kind of far away from mattering. You can definitely make a case either way for this, but I'm cracking it. Let's redraw. Let's go. All right, Phyrexian Arena. Okay. Interesting find. Interesting find. No, I will not pay the life for Dystopia. Duress. Okay. Okay, Duress. Okay. Lightning Bolt. Yeah. Double Call of the Herd. All right, well, we have no choice but to let it rip with the Arena. This is going to be a fun and fairly intense end to this game. So opponent's got one Call of the Herd in the hand, another in the bin, but only on 2 lands. All right, they've got the Apes. A little scary. A little scary. Come on, Arena. Let's go. What have we got? Terminate. We'll take it. And Bloodstained Mire. Not good. So I'm not even going to play the Bloodstained Mire. I don't think. I'll just kind of conceal information. Oh, if that had been another factory, if we had to draw land, how good would the other factory have been? All right, they make a Call of the Herd. We'll diabolically edict it. All right, let's go. Let's go action. Another factory. Lavaborn Muse. Yeah, all right. Good stuff. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8 lands, including factory. Okay. So we can and probably should hold up Terminate rather than getting 1 extra point of damage in with the attacking factory here. It could matter, I guess, but so could us just like dying to Treetop Village plus Lightning Bolt. As predicted, a very intense end of the game. Very close stuff. And we got there. Very fun Magic, great games, well played. Alright, it's a pretty reasonable keep on the play here, getting to lead on Lava Man without the very most fuel for him. Even if they present a turn 1 Terminate target, terminating a 1-drop doesn't usually feel the greatest, but that's alright. Opponent goes Plains Pass, so let's just serve before we show them anything else. He could quite easily just eat a plow here. Alright. I think we play Swamp over Factory. That enables us to terminate, potentially, Tithe. Whoa, okay. Gonna tutor up 2 planes. Pretty cool. That allows us to this could be White Weenie. I don't know what else plays Tithe. I'm sure all kinds of decks play Tithe. This allows us, though, to terminate a 2-drop, or indeed to cast a Hippie on turn 3 if we draw one off the top. Alright. Whip Quarter. So White Weenie or Rebels, I suppose. Both potentially there. Again, it feels bad to terminate something Lava-manceable, if I may be permitted to coin a phrase, but we just don't have the graveyard for that. So factor into Lavaman and a Lavaborn Muse facing down their full grip. I've had better feelings about my position in a given match. I'll just say it. I'll just put it that way. Whip quarter number 2. Alright, let's draw like a discard spell, or, yeah, Hippie. Hippie's kind of okay. It's not really that exciting, would have been way better last turn, but... I mean, Lavaman seems incredible against what they're up to. We just, again... We missed that one... Oh god, another Tithe. The value! The value! What a cool card. I love that art. We missed that one interactive piece. I know we had to terminate, but we missed, like, the discard spell, or even the fetch land, or the lightning bolt, or anything to really make Lavaman start taking over the game. White Weenie confirmed, Soltari Monk. And no attack. Alrighty. Another hippie could be okay, actually, just with the sheer amount of lands they have in hand. First one's just going to get tapped down, I suppose. This is a free attack against a shadow threat. Is that what we're supposed to do? Yeah, they're not going to put anything into our graveyard for us. They're mono-white, right? It's such an unfortunate, again, lack of fuel for the Lavaman, who could be just soloing this deck right now. However, under the circumstances, it is okay. I think to just play another hippie, try to save the Lavaborn Muse for when they're a little bit lower so she gets a guaranteed trigger for when they might, as I was about to say, spend a plow on one of the hippies. It's all a reasonable enough outcome for us, and we do... we could have attacked as well there with Factory, but then they might have just traded, and I'm not sure that would have been correct. Then again, with Lavaman, it probably would have been. So maybe we'll attack with Factory this turn. We'll see what's up. Mystic Crusader. Alright, they're getting close to threshold. Pro-black, pro-red. Really good card against us. And could become a 3-2 flyer as well. So, Lightning Bolt, though, we like. Lightning Bolt we will take. Alright, 6 lands. Hippie's tapped, sure. Is there a compelling reason to main phase things like this? I really don't think so. So we are going to just play the Lavaborn Muse, and we're going to be going Bolt into Lavaman activation. But again, I don't think we need to main phase that. Do they have another plow? If so, they're going to hold off on it. Take a draw step. think I'm supposed to bolt the Shadow Threat here. It's somewhat optimistic. You know, I guess they could have something a little scarier. But we are, you know, ultimately we are racing. Oh no, another Mystic Crusader. That is actually so good against us. Oh no. And we kind of have no choice but to put them a little closer toward Threshold here. Like, what else are we going to do? So right now, the Engineered Plague name for human is looking really good. They're going to plow the Hippie. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, man. Double Mystic Crusader, like, shuts off our deck real good. Another Bolt is a fine draw. Silver Knight. Protection from red, you got it. Swinging with both, eh? I guess so. These tithes have protected them really well against Lavaborn Muse as well. Yeah, it's an impressive display from the White Weenie deck. Swamp's not gonna get us there. I'm gonna say they have this wrapped up. I'm gonna give them the concession here. First striking, blocking Mishra's Factory. Hats off. I love White Weenie. I think it's really, really strong. I'm kind of eager to go to these post-side games, too, because Anarchy and Engineered Plague are both completely incredible. We're going to play Dystopia as well. I mean, Fire Covenant probably should come in. I think I just don't care that much about discard, especially Duress. Pretty happy to stay somewhat threat dense here. But yeah, there's so much pro black and pro red that I think Machine Head is kind of, even though it's really good against small creatures in general, against White Weenie in particular, I'm not sure that's true. What if we just cut all of our discard effects and indeed the Phyrexian Furnace? Well, actually, Furnace against Threshold's okay. They might have more effects as well. Alright, we're back. I just cut the one of Scrying, and I think this is an alright keep. Curse Scroll, there's a good chance it's our very best card. At least it would have been against the progression they presented last turn. Or last game. So I'm going to lead on it, just because we don't really have anything else to do with our hand. It would be nice to not expose it so early to a disenchant, but our hand kind of signals that we have to. Fourth land is okay. We're guaranteeing the curve out here. Opponent with another Tithe. I wonder if we're supposed to take the draw against this deck. That's actually something I did not consider whatsoever. Yeah, Seal of Cleansing. Okay. Yep, pretty bad stuff. Okay, I guess I play Bloodstained Mire here, making the scroll a 40% chance to hit, to do 2 to the face. I don't really think that matters, but... It might even not be worth doing this, you know, like maybe we're supposed to just like conceal our information, but whatever. Nah, we move. Okay. We showed them Fire Covenant. Oh boy. Yeah, this is turning into a really awkward game. Turning into a really awkward one. Alright, so why don't we play Lavaborn Muse here? I don't really expect her to live. She's obviously just a 3-3 for a while, even if she does. However, yeah, Plow. I want them to play out just a little bit more. Not that our Fire Covenant does much against pro-black, and especially with them knowing about it, but yeah, so for instance, Silver Knight, we can bolt the Monk, Silver Edict to Silver Knight. You just want to draw Engineered Plague, though. Just want to draw the E-Plague. Alright, so with another Soltari Monk coming down, we're going to bolt one that's there. Edict away one of the Silver Knights. And Factory's chillin'. Divine Sacrament. White creatures get an additional +1/+1. It's an anthem, and then it's another anthem. Oh boy. So now the Silver Knight is a beast, and our factories look a lot worse than they did a moment ago, and so does an Engineered Plague, which comes just at the wrong time, right off the top. Well, there's really never a wrong time, I guess, for an Engineered Plague, so let's just play another factory. We'll name Human. We're worried about Mystic Crusader, right? Armageddon. Alright, they got us. They got us so good. Good games. Well played to White Weenie. Absolutely wrecked. We're keeping an alright one on the draw. We've really got to hope Grim Lavamancer lines up against their strategy. Curse Scroll is a nice one as well. The opponent goes basic Forest Pass. That does give me, A, some hope that Grim will line up well, but B, a little bit of trepidation about running out the Lava Man into a potential turn 2 Oath of Druids. But, like, our hand, we're not going to beat them with no discard spells and no removal and just, like, trying to activate Curse Scroll, right? So we have to follow the signals of our hand and play Lava Man into what we hope is not an Oath, and what we do hope is a small creature deck that didn't have a turn 1 play. I mean, that would be optimal. That said, we still can't activate Lava Man as our hand stands right now. Core Haven into Mulch. Alright, and Call of the Herd in Genesis. So this is definitely a little bit of a tough one. Right off the bat, they're showing us like some big bodies. I think these green creatures line up pretty well against our deck overall. They also draw 2 forests. So, opponent's on a full grip. We've got another Mishra's Factory. That's going to line up pretty well, I have to imagine. And we get to go Curse Scroll. I'm going to choose to play a Factory here. There is an argument to play Swamp in case we draw exactly Hippie or Phyrexian Arena off the top, but we're probably just going to go Phyrexian Rager off of Swamp. And the Factory gives us more flexibility. Opponent says, good luck, have fun, we'll return the favor. And opponent's going to wasteland our factory. Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. Another Lava Man, huh? I guess we'll take that. That wasteland is definitely not the worst outcome I've ever seen. But for now, we're just going to continue playing basics. I do want to curve out here. I do want to stick the Rager next turn. Again, a follow-up Wasteland wouldn't be the worst either, but it's not really where I want to be at this moment in time. So opponent still got 2 forests in hand. They're playing Windswept Heath. And yeah, I'm not sure exactly what we're up against. They might just flashback Call of the Herd next turn, but what if they have another Call of the Herd out of the hand? I'm a little worried about the value they're presenting. I assume this is like a Terrageddon type strategy. All right, they're main phasing a plow on one of our Lava Men. That's a fine outcome too. Might mean they have another plow rolled up. Well, we've got duress, so we can definitely find out. I think we're supposed to duress because I'm worried about Armageddon, among other things. Then again, us being left behind with a Lava Man and a scroll wouldn't be the worst either. So part of me does actually just want to stick the Rager. Interesting spot, interesting spot. Let's go duress. Again, if we have the read on plow and Armageddon, and there is an Armageddon, do we even take the Armageddon? They also have Battlefield Scrounger, huh? Ray of Revelation we don't care about yet. Well, again, it's we don't care that much about the Armageddon, but I guess we're still just kind of taking it here. And we'll start using our graveyard a little bit more. Yep, flashback. Ping you. Another duress. Yeah. Not the most exciting. But we know until we present an enchantment, it will have the ability to hit. Lightning Bolt is actually a good draw here. I'm just going to take care of the elephant token. I was thinking that maybe we would like take a turn off from that, and then we'd be setting up like a kill off Lava Man plus Curse Scroll. But that's really clean. Let's us get in. They've got the apes, and they've got another Call of the Herd. All right, the value is pretty great, but we draw Phyrexian Furnace. What a draw. Okay, so if we go land, drop, which we have an incentive not to do in some ways because of Armageddon, but with Curse Scroll, I think we just have to play into the Armageddon a little bit. We can do it all here. So play a Furnace. Scroll the elephant. Name duress. Lava Man the elephant. Furnace OP, get in with Rager. They will unfortunately get to flashback Call of the Herd, but pretty good turn overall. The chip damage plan is starting to pay some dividends here. They still have a forest in hand. They have this Battlefield Scrounger card they could cast. Instead, they just flash back. Obviously, that makes sense in the face of a Furnace. Lavaborn Muse could be really good here. Interesting. I think we're supposed to duress check for Plow. If not, we just take Ray of Revelation. They have one unknown in hand. And then we just stick the Muse and we take it from there. We don't get to attack or activate Lava Man this turn or anything like that, but we're setting ourselves up to do so really well next turn. With drawing a high curve spell like Muse and having these mana sinks on field, we definitely just have to, like, get her out of the hand, I think, and take it from there. Gives us the best possible bet for next time. This is a really aggressive attack if they shove in with both. It looks like they might be just coming in with the Apes here. So their hand is Plains, Scrounger, one unknown. We're just going to take 3 here pretty easily. And they'll pass. All right, Terminate. Seems good. Seems really good. So if we Terminate, we can scroll beforehand, and then we're not getting, like, we're not holding up Furnace, or we're not getting value as such out of the Lava Man, but I think that's just pretty nice, so. Well, now we're putting more strain on our graveyard, but, well, okay. No, let's Terminate and attack with Factory. That way we can hold up Furnace, I guess. It's kind of all the same thing, but this is maybe slightly better. And since we're just attacking with the Lava Man, it doesn't really matter what land we hold up here. They've got Core Haven to prevent the Lavaborn Muse combat damage. And then they'll take 5. Down to 7, dead on board, less the Core Haven, of course, but we have so many different ways to get there. Battlefield Scrounger is a really interesting one. I've seen this recently in an old school Oath deck that was cool, like Time Walks, taking turns type of deck. Because Time Warp is legal in Premodern, apparently. Who knew? Alright, so they're just casting Scrounger. They're now holding up Core Haven, but not Treetop Village, notably. We're not going to crack Furnace. We are just going to draw a Lightning Bolt. That seems good. That seems really good. Alright, sorry, I'm back. Child interruption, and I just kind of clicked some stuff there at the end. We got there. We had a million different ways to get there. Very conservative sideboarding here until I see more. Even having seen what we've seen and accounting for what we might haven't seen, I don't think we really change all that much here. The dystopias come in. The extra furnace comes in. A few discard spells comes out. I think that's totally fine. I'm not really sure if we need to leave all of our removal in, but they have the creature lands. They have stuff like the 5-drop Centaur they played at the end. It's definitely fine, I think, to leave these in until further notice. We've got actually a pretty similar hand to what we opened on last time, and I think that's totally reasonable as a keep. They will mulligan down to 6 and open up on Mox Diamond, so they're going to empty their hand real quick here on the play in Game 2. Sylvan Library is going to help them fill it back up, though. One nice thing about Machine Head is that we do punish such plays more than most, or at least threaten to punish such plays more than many mid-range decks can. Not because we can answer the library, which we cannot outside of Dystopia, but simply because we have these cards like Lava Man and Lightning Bolt. We have Reach, right? So it's not as much of a free roll for them to just draw whatever 2 extra cards they have, right? Whereas if they're against the Rock or Moneyball or something that's a little slower, and in the case of Rock can more easily remove the enchantment, then they would probably just fill their hand right up. But yeah, they just used that for selection. They did not accrue card advantage yet off Sylvan Library, but they do have Port online, only 1 card in hand. I'm not sure I mean, Bolt in Response is mana efficient, but I don't think we do it yet. We draw another one, okay. Sure. So, let's go Swamp into Scroll. There's actually an argument to play a second Mountain there. There's also an argument to play Mishra's Factory for sure, because I would not mind them just like wastelanding us when they're solo on cards already and when we have a preponderance of lands. But we'll play Swamp, giving us the most flexibility for a draw step next turn, I suppose. Wild Mongrel, but only 1 card to discard, so that I will bolt, especially if they port, our Mountain here. They're going to port our Swamp. Okay. Got it. Duress. Yeah, I think bolting here is fine. Let's get a Factory down. I think that makes them slightly less likely to port our Swamp, all else being equal. But they still probably will next turn, especially if they don't have anything to do on their own turn. So opponent is now down to 11 from their library, so they are starting to refuel. Perhaps going to shuffle away some 1 bad card with the Heath, because I think they just drew 1. Or did they just draw 2 this turn? Anyway. Point being, selection of libraries amplified by fetch lands, of course, and now they are digging deep, which means potentially there is a good duress target going to be sitting in their hand, but Terrageddon, okay. Well, that is boltable for this exact turn, and probably not any longer. They do not port us. Okay. So I think we're going to go for the duress. They could have Armageddon. They could have other things we need to know about. We get a plow. Very nice. Okay. Then we get to bolt a Terrageddon. That does not happen every day. Then let's make our second black land here. And let's get our factory ported down. I guess it would probably have been better to just not do that into bluff, but... So opponent down to 10, playing off the top with the help of library, and we have a situation that is fine, just because we have the factories and the scrolls. Ooh, they find another Terrageddon, though. You don't love to see that one. All right. Still not the end of the world, of course. The draw of another land's pretty bad. Okay, they're porting our mountain. Yeah. Even if they attack, I don't think we're firing it. Well, depends on what they present. But, like, an attack is completely fine. We might not want to risk them, like, plowing a factory or something, because we just want to be able to present a lot of attackers on the crackback. We want to keep our land count high for Curse Scroll. We are now a lot more worried about Armageddon, now that they have a Terrageddon, obviously. But, yeah. Okay. Opponent cannot attack. So let's go for a scroll here, naming... What do we feel? What's the lucky land here, mountain or swamp? We're predominantly black-based. We've got to pay homage to that. We name swamp. We hit. Let's go. And we draw another swamp. So, funnily enough, now we play mountain. And we have a guaranteed hit off of naming swamp again. No attacks necessary. We're just going to kill them with Curse Scroll, hopefully, if they don't do anything in the midst of this stalemate. Port activation resolves. Back to you. We gotta fade Armageddon for a few turns. They probably have some sort of disenchant effect in there as well. But we from here have so many good draws, it's unreal. We're not all that worried about a wasteland either. Definitely makes Terrageddon a lot better, but we should be able to win this race here. With just almost anything off the top of our deck that's relevant. Contributes, I think, enough for us to get there. Ooh, I don't know if Phyrexian Arena counts, but we're obviously going to play it. So whenever they port us, we just scroll in response, and then the race is on. Not Samp. Not Samp. How about Swamp? So Armageddon off the top would be GG. I don't know what else we're really all that afraid of. Okay, Treetop Village. Sure. They're porting with Arena on the stack. We just let that happen, I guess. Interesting spot, actually. Because with 2 cards coming off the top, it is irrelevant. You know, I think we're actually supposed to scroll here. For the guaranteed hit and for more mana efficiency. So let's use our swamps, and then we'll have a swamp for turn. We'll have 2 red, 2 black, with which to hopefully finish the game off. I think that's correct from the opponent to do it there, and I think it is correct for us to respond accordingly. Ouch. 3 lands, eh? Well, the game goes on for 1 more turn. I mean, we've got Bolt, we've got Terminate, we've got Lavaborn Muse, we've got Diabolic Edict, all kinds of good stuff. But now, okay, we still get there. Not sure I played completely optimally there at various spots. Lots of small decision points, but the deck did enough to get us there for sure. Good games, well played. Alright, I believe this to be a keep, but it's got a few problems. No fetches to fuel the scrying, no red mana for the Terminate, no guarantee that Terminates even matter in the matchup, but, like, this is the type of mid-range hand that you don't really throw back in Game 1 so much, because, like, the old mid-range principle is that you're 45-55 in Game 1s anyway. So, you just kind of keep most lands and spells hands and see if you can cobble together a win. I think we are up against Devourer Combo, so the Terminates are pretty dead. To that end, I could have played Mishra's Factory last turn, but since we're playing Hippie and we're kind of behind the 8 ball anyway, I don't think it really matters. Yeah, this is, alright, we've drawn red. Sure. So we have to hope they don't have Tinker here, or indeed the hard cast Devourer, which they're just 1 mana away from. Okay, there's the mana. Do they have the turn 3 kill? They do not, necessarily. Yeah, they don't. Okay. Good. That is good. So I don't think we're supposed to probably do anything here except jam Arena and try to draw more fun things with which to disrupt the opponent. We're obviously just dead to a lot of top decks here, though, and we've only just begun the clock. They've done a little bit of work for us with that Ancient Tomb, but yeah. So it is certainly worth noting that we are mega punished in this particular matchup for keeping a lands and spells hand rather than mulling for more diverse interaction. But again, as I said in the deck tech, if you don't want Terminates so much, then you probably don't want Machine Head in general. So, like, throwing back a hand because it has Terminates, admittedly among a few other problems, is really not what we do in a blind Game 1. Hippie is a great card in the matchup. We have to get pretty lucky for them not to hit the combo from here, though. That is for sure. But so far, so good. Opponent digging, but not digging too crazily, I suppose. Alright, so I guess we're going to just play the rats and not do the skeletal scrying thing this turn. We don't have a very good one anyway. So to that end, we also will attack with the factory. And the rats makes it a 2-turn clock from here, putting 5 power onto the board. Since our life total doesn't matter, we'll play the Springs over the Swamp. And have access to double red in case we're drawing burn off the top. Okay. So we could theoretically draw a couple bolts and get there. Opponent probably has 2 turns, but they probably feel like they have 1. Sphere and Stone both get cracked, which is evidence that they feel like they have 1. And do they find the big guy? Because now they cannot tinker. Okay, Sabo's Web. That's a good one, because now they can tinker, and now Factory doesn't untap, so the clock is back. Is set back, as it were. Lava Man, Duress. Yeah. Yeah, we definitely fire off the Duress here. We get a defense grid, doesn't really matter. So now we get to play the Lava Man. We're going to scrying for 2. We're also holding up Terminate. We're holding up Terminate. We can respond to the combo, but, you know, I don't think that really matters. So we knocked out Defense Grid, Shivan Reef. They play Gemstone Mine. Yielding until next end step. Skeletal Scrying for 2. Alright, so can we draw Lightning Bolt for the kill? We cannot. What a tilt. Alright. And Factory. Factory would be lethal, of course, if it were otherwise. Then it is. So not a whole lot we can do. We've got all these Terminates rotting in hand. Does opponent rip the kill? Or do we go 1-0 in deciding? Chromatic Sphere. You know, instead of playing Hippie, I wonder if there is scope to hold up triple Terminate. I don't know exactly how that works on the stack. But, like, responding to their mill and, like, making them do that 3 times, would that have got us there? Because, like, playing the Hippie doesn't do anything. Like, they're either dead or they're not, right? Looks like they found the Tinker, though. They found the Devourer hardcast, yep. So, I wonder if triple Terminate means anything. And they managed to do it without, of course, having to tap Ancient Tomb, which was our other out as well. So I guess we terminate now. Again, I don't really know what the optimal spot is here. If we had more terminates, we probably would have done it earlier, I guess. Whatever. I mean, they got the combo rolled up. They beat us. And by rights, our deck did not disrupt and pressure enough. Like, they got a little unlucky, I think, not to see it until the very end. Oh, hold on. Turn off auto yields. Any order. Set stop in my own upkeep. Exile 2. Yield to this. Okay. Okay. And then we go to our own upkeep. And we actually get to Lava Man them. I did almost miss that. My apologies, we get there anyway. Again, I wonder... Yeah. Lava Man's good. I wonder if I should have held up the Terminates anyway, but yeah. The Lava Man just had the kill locked down. As long as we had a stop set in our upkeep. Which we did. So, yeah. A weird one, but we'll take it. Engineered Plague hates out that Devourer card before it comes down. Overload is among our very best. There might be a little scope to play the Red Blast. I'm not completely sure. I don't think this is a matchup for Furnace or Scroll. Probably not really a good Lava Man matchup there, but it did work out for us. I'm just gonna cut Terminates and Diabolic Edicts, play a couple of Red Blasts. Do we maybe trim like a Lava Man? Is a third Red Blast better than a fourth Bolt or a second Lava Man? I'm not really sure. I think I'm going to try all four of these, and maybe to that end we do trim a Lava Man and a Bolt. Definitely not certain about that final step, but broadly beyond that, I think it's good. Yeah, that would have been embarrassing if I missed the Lava Man kill. Thankfully, we got there. This one we're going to have to send back. We only have a one-lander, and all of our spells are red that we can cast early. We can do better. We don't really want a double Lavaborn Muse hand anyway. That's way too slow. So, mulligan to 6. This looks a lot better. We'll keep. So I definitely want to overload Altar of Dementia. So I was going to say, if they play a Mana Rock, I'm probably not going to overload it. Grim Lavamancer is nice. Grim Lavamancer is a... Again, it's not the greatest matchup for him, but just having something proactive to do turn 1. It's no duress, is it? But we'll take it. Ancient Tomb pass. Alright. Alright, let's start filling up the graveyard now with the fetch, and that is why also I kept the fetch. So they could be on Pyroclasm, for example. But we definitely don't play scared of that. Not that a Pyroclasm cleaning up 2 things, one of which was a Rats that discarded, would be that bad. Impulse on the end step after we knock City of Traitors out of the hand. And a very painful impulse. They took 3 to cast it. So from here on out, we do want to hold up Overload. Obviously, I don't think we can really afford to on turn 2, and it may not be necessary because they have no permanents on the field. It's not that they can't kill us from here, especially if they play Lotus Petal. But they go City of Traitors, Mind Stone. Still 4 in hand. Alright. So pretty good turn lined up of Rats, Hold Up Bolt, / Overload. I don't know what we could be really bluffing with 1 black, but for whatever psychological edge that gives, we might as well hold up the Springs rather than the Mountain. It just telegraphs what we have a little bit less, if nothing else. We get Tinker out of their hand. That's really good. That's a sign that the opponent either has multiples or is a little stuck. I think they probably have multiples, because if you have Mind Stone and Chromatic Sphere, although Sphere was probably just the rip for turn, so who knows. What are we doing here for 4 mana? We're cycling. Are we tinkering into altar? Probably. And if we are tinkering into altar, or they tinker into the Devourer. And then they're going to fling. Well, our Overload sure doesn't hit the Devourer. Yeah, so, looks like they got us. We'll obviously make them show us the fling here, rather than, like, for some reason, an Altar of Dementia cast after the fact, but I guess doing it this way, they beat us anyway, right? So that would be heads-up sequencing if so. Not exposing the altar to an overload beforehand. But clearly it is just the old fling, right? Oh no, it is altar. Okay. Wait, what? Oh, sorry, they exiled altar. They will fling. And just to give them a little bit of an assist, we'll bolt upstairs as well. We'll put ourselves even lower. -8 seems good. All right, good stuff from the OP. I think our keep was fine, especially because we had to mull to 6. The lack of targeted discard was punishing, and then they just got us easily from there. Run it back. Nice hand. Nice hand, nice hand. Duress is among the very best cards in the matchup. They do have a high land count, Devourer in hand, good to know about, so it is Mind Stone or Impulse, and we probably just take the Impulse in this case. Rats would be good, anything proactive to do next turn, even like a Lava Man would be fine. We take the Lava Man, okay. I am not going to fetch because we could draw Hippie for turn next turn. Even if we do, that'll be a very interesting decision between Hippie and Plague, right? But opponents got some kind of setting up to do. It's not that they can't get there, especially because we left them the Mind Stone. That leaves us definitely more exposed to a quick kill than the Impulse would. But they're just going to go off Gemstone Mine. It's really good in combination with Catacombs, of course. Use the mine, bounce it back to your hand. Everybody has fun with that one. I guess we're going to take off the stop on our own upkeep for now. Ooh, Duress. Ooh. Yeah, we've still got to play a 3-drop here, and it's just got to be the safety play, I think, of Engineered Plague. Against Sabo's Web, and knowing that we have we have multiple black spells in hand, I'm gonna go fetch into Swamp here rather than Factory. Alright, we've named Construct. We have a nominal clock. Duress into Rager plus Factory next turn is actually a really good turn 4. So I'm feeling pretty good. They, they play Rainbow Land, so they can have, like, Disenchant or Naturalize or something like that. Perhaps more likely is, like, Hoodwink or Rushing River, from what I understand. They do play out the City of Traders, which is another good combo with Croesus's Catacombs. You can bounce the Traders without having to sacrifice it. Okay, so I guess we're just supposed to tap down everything except a Swamp and plan to Duress. Oh, I forgot you couldn't tap Enchantment, so maybe I should have just Lavamand in response. Can I still do this? No, I cannot. Okay. So we miss out on 2 damage this way. Yeah. Definitely thought I could tap Engineered Plague. So if we lose with them at 1 or 2 life, I've officially punted. Other than that, odds of it mattering are fairly unlikely. But Tanglewire's a good find for the opponent. Definitely a good find. Goose the Scepter. This is good anti-discard technology. Yeah, that makes our Duress a lot less exciting, actually. Okay, opponent's got a lot going on over there. Again, we're the ones with the E-Plague, we're the ones with the proactive stance. It's okay. Oh. Missequencing there? Or misclicking, probably. I don't think you have to sack City of Traders. Anyway. So I think we're going to tap 1, 2, 3, hope to draw a land, and just play a Rager. Ah, man, Arena, that's a tilt. So we're not going to Duress just yet. Again, let's read Goose the Scepter. You can tap to exile 1 card. You can tap to return 1 card. So we almost want to let them build up cards a little bit more. We know they have Devour in hand. Like, I think I'm just going to basically bolt this turn and probably Duress next turn. I'm not sure. These decisions against Tanglewire are definitely interesting. So they tapped down the Scepter. I don't know, I didn't even pay attention to whether they did that last turn, so if I missed that, my mistake. I don't think they did, but again, I could be wrong. It's a card I haven't seen in a very, very long time. It's a cool one, though. Okay, so they will Tinker. Tinker away the Scepter. So I was going to say our Duress is live next turn. It's really live now. And what do they go for? Are they still setting up the combo? They went for Devourer, and they lose to the Engineered Plague. Okay, not the most thrilling way to win, but we do lock them out. They maybe had scope to go for Sabo's Web and play a more value game, but maybe they just don't really have outs to this card in their deck. Either way, that was a bit awkward on all sides there at different places, but we do show the power of this card as hate against Devourer Combo. Alright, friends, those were some Machine Head games for you. Overall, the deck looked really good. I think we went 4-1 if I'm not mistaken in our 5 matches here. I will say as a little bit of an asterisk that in my warm-up games, I was going more 50-50-ish, and drawing what felt like the wrong half of the deck more often than not. Just to get the negatives out of the way that were a little bit present here, but were more present in my warm-up games, the wrong half of the deck more often than not involved too many Terminates. As a secondary consideration, not so much wrong half of the deck, but like something that didn't really come up here, but can definitely come up, is if you are in a matchup where the Terminates are good, and the Bolts and the Lava Men are lining up, but you're having to fetch too frequently and tap Sulphurous Springs too often, the pain of the mana base was perhaps understated by our progressions in this particular video. Just some things to consider for those who might be hyped about Machine Head after seeing some of the play here, but I also don't want to dissuade you. It is a really, really strong way to play midrange, you know? It's viable, it's good, it's fun. Obviously, this card shines a lot. Grim Lavamancer in a lot of situations. Lavaborn Muse was, as always, pretty good as a 3-of. I think that's kind of locked in, actually, as far as I'm concerned. If I were to consider anything, I might consider, again, trying to reduce the wrong half of the deck problem, maybe moving a Terminate to the side and kicking this Fire Covenant out of here for a stronger card. Maybe you could even just play without Diabolic Edict and go all in on the Terminate effects. I think maybe cutting one removal spell and hoping that Lightning Bolt and Lava Man can pick up the slack in that regard is probably about right. I kind of forgot my own heuristic about, like, whenever we see Phyrexian Rager, we'll see how the Rack would have done in its place. I don't know, I think Rager was good on its own. It's not like it, I don't think it was ever really bad. I think it actually helped us curve out really well the few times we saw it. So my advice is to continue to consider Rager as an option, as you almost consider it as filler in a deck, but not in a bad way, right? That said, there is scope, of course, to play a couple rack effects in here. I don't think we missed Dark Ritual whatsoever. So overall, I think our deck building here was really well rewarded, and this all proved itself really well. We know how good having access to Overload and Blue Blast can be. Anarchy bailed us out as well against Exalted Angel. So all in all, a really fun time with Machine Head. Thank you, as always, for watching. Shout out to the mid-rangers, as always, especially Sal for this particular video. And please do like, comment, and subscribe in order to keep this content flowing. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon for more mid-range and other shenanigans in Premodern. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.